I'm Kayla Marok, and I'm having the most fun sitting here, palms sweaty, a little nervous, but that's okay. Having the most fun. Oh, shit, I already said that. With Tabitha and Spencer, my friends that I miss so much, but not so much that I'll stay in Ottawa. I'll probably head back to Ireland, most likely, but I'll be back again at some point. Yay, most fun, having so much fun. Oh, fun. It was good, it was fun, yeah. What is most fun?
Welcome to Most Fun Podcast, the podcast that is so cool because we interview cool animation guests about finding the fun in their work and their life.
I'm Spencer Moreland, or backwards, Danalerum Resneps.
I'm Tabitha Fisher, and in Pig Latin, Abatha a Isherfe.
Close. It was Abatha Te, right?
Are you giving me notes on Pig Latin?
I've studied Pig Latin extensively.
Right.
Yeah, it was my major in college. Not animation.
Yeah, weirdly not animation.
No.
I didn't know they had a Pig Latin program at Algonquin, but anyway.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
People say it's a dead language. I think it's alive.
They also call it's a Romanesque language, which is interesting. One of the Romance languages.
Actually, it's Roman-ish.
Roman-ish.
Yeah.
Right.
Technically, yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
Right, correct.
Can we figure out your name backwards? Let's do this live on the pod.
Yeah, it would be like my name backwards is Fisher Tabitha.
Do you know what your name pronounced backwards is? Do you have that?
No, like stored in the hopper?
Yeah.
No.
Because me and my friends, we used to love just call each other the backwards version of each other's names.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fun.
Yeah.
So mine would be, do I have to start from the last name and then go to the first name to
That's
be
what
truly
I did.
backwards?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let me look at my name written.
Right.
Now that's a hack. Urhishuf Ahithbat. I like the Eastern European spice that came out at the end.
Mine, I had to sort of give it a apostrophe. That's right. Denalerum.
Right.
There's a lot going on there. Backwards, it doesn't roll off the tongue as much as Moreland.
Yeah. So fun fact, you know this fact, but the listenership doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell the story of how I first came to understand your name. We met each other through my film.
Yes.
When I hired you, you know the story. I heard your name from a few people. I was looking for an animation director, and my friend Brent said, yeah, Spencer Moreland, you got to find him. And I said, I had a notebook and I was trying to write down the name, and I went, Spencer Moreland, like a colonizer.
And Brent did not entertain that kind of humor.
No, he looked at me like, what the f*** is wrong with you?
Thank you for the self-censoring. You knew this one. Not like our last episode. This one isn't an explicit episode. No, this is a very, very nice, wholesome episode where we're talking to our good friend, Kayla Marok.
Yes, Kayla Marok is very family friendly. In fact, she recently made a zine that's about a little girl whose grandpa is basically a Bigfoot enthusiast. So we talk a bit about that with her. She's able to find this cool line between having a grandpa character that's like a little bit of a weirdo, like in a spooky way, but also in a way that doesn't seem so threatening for our kids.
Yes.
So it's basically like if your grandpa was a conspiracy theorist, but
the fun version.
Yeah, for kids.
And I think that's really the heart of what she's so good at. And it really reminds me of like weird kids books in the 90s, like Stinky Cheese Man stuff that was like for kids, but like a little weird and creepy, but it's got a mischievous wink where it's all in good fun.
Yeah.
And that's very much the spirit of her work. So Kayla's been in Ireland for the past year. She came back for a few weeks to Ottawa to visit. while she was in town, we had some time to sit down and talk to her about her travels so far and the people she's met and the new inspirations she's found while over in a new country for the first time that she's really had an adventure like that. Before we listen to the episode, we're going to do our pre-cap chit-chat where we tell our takeaways from our conversation with Kayla. So for the first time since we've started this podcast, we didn't have to look too far back to do our pre-cap chit-chat.
That's
on
right.
Kayla's episode. We recorded this just a couple months ago. So I have a fresh takeaway from our chat with it. I actually took away something that I've implemented since the conversation.
Okay, what's that?
So my takeaway is to use opportunities that come up to motivate you and help set your intentions. So Kayla was presented with an opportunity to table at a comics event. She makes illustrations and prints, but they were prioritizing comics artists for this event. So she said, okay, I'll make some comics.
Right.
And she's not a comic artist. She's dabbled a little bit in that in the past, and she makes shorts. So she knows her way around using her illustrations for storytelling. But she hadn't made comics, but she used this as an opportunity to sort of force an intention.
Right.
And I took that exact same note and signed up for OCAF, which is the very first Ottawa Comics Arts Festival, having not yet made a comic. And I've since started it, and now it lit a fire under my ass to do that myself. So
yeah. So, okay, so I'll tell you my takeaway from Kayla. Oh, there were so many takeaways, so it was hard to choose. But I think for me, the one that really resonates on a deep level is this idea of having creative breaks for yourself when you're feeling restless. When you work in the studio, it can be very easy to get trapped in the rhythm of studio, especially because we do a lot of like season by season work that has a certain structure to it, a certain flow, where you're doing a new episode every week. And there's a repetitiveness to that is usually, I always find I'm fresh in the first month of a show. And then after you learn the puzzle of the show and you've like, quote unquote, solved it. I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who's more senior, because, you know, if you're a junior, everything is a puzzle. But when you've been doing this a while, it gets old quick, and then you're just doing the work, which has its own pluses. You get through a lot of podcasts that way. But creatively and just stimulating your brain, not so much. So what I would do was save up money, and so that when it was break time, you'll pop over on a little trip. So years ago, I did this going to Paris. So that's what that reminded me of. And it was just such an important thing to do at some point in your life. And it's never too late. Because I know that there's people I know who have done it younger in their careers, but also people who did it older in their careers. And I don't think there's a wrong time to do it, but it might not be as elaborate as like going to live in Paris for the summer and running around with a sketchbook, which is what I did. It could be something as simple as saying, between contracts, I'm going to commit to making this creative project, and I'm just going to set the intention and say, this is what I do for these 2 months I'm off. Mm-hmm. And if you can physically get out of your living space to go do that, maybe it's if you don't have the resources to go off to another country, maybe it's a summer, you go on a 1-week canoe trip by yourself and you bring your sketchbook and your notebook. It's just finding the version of it that makes sense for you, I think, is the key. And if you maybe did one of these types of trips years ago and it's been a while, maybe you've even had a family, a lot of life things have happened, that could be a perfect time to do something like that as well. I think it's going back to this idea across your life, I think, is a good idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like a one and done. Yeah.
Well, we're going to hear from Kayla and hear more about someone who's kind of right in the middle of their journey. So,
yes.
Yeah, it's exciting. Let's get into it. Kayla Marok is an illustrator from Wakefield, Quebec, who has worked as a layout artist on series including The Loud House and Hilda. In her personal illustration work, Kayla takes the weird, the gross, and the creepy and spins it into something playful, using paint and colored pencils to render charmingly mischievous oddballs. These characters come to life in Kayla's animated shorts, such as her 2024 film Hell, the cartoonishly surreal dark comedy about an existential crisis in a bowl of alphabet soup. Now based in Ireland, Kayla relocated in search of new landscapes and creative inspiration. In Cork, she has connected with the local animation community, finding new opportunities to share her work with through screenings, events, and artistic collaborations as she continues to broaden her creative horizons and refine her unique off-kilter style.
Everyone says it feels like it's been 3 years since you've been gone, and then you're like, hey, it's been like
A year.
a year.
Yeah.
But
Just
by
over.
the way, it's like classic time distortion post-COVID life. It feels like you had been gone longer. And then as soon as you're back, it's like, oh, you never left.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't believe it's been a year. It really felt like I was hanging out like a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a few years up to you taking off to Ireland, you had talked about moving to a few different
Yeah.
places. What was the call to go somewhere else? Was it an artistic reasons? Was it personal reasons? A mix of the both?
Kind of. It was just I needed just like a bit of an adventure, a break in the cycle,
Mhm.
basically. I guess moving away to a different country was the best thing to do for me.
Mhm.
Hey, have you
Yeah.
done that before?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, because you're from not Ottawa, but just outside of Ottawa, right?
Yeah, I'm from the Quebec side. I grew up like outside of Wakefield, Quebec.
Mm-hmm. So you thought about, I remember at one point, Montreal was an option.
Oh, there's like a
Yeah, well,
huge
give me the list.
of there was Montreal, Halifax.
Right.
I was thinking Australia maybe for a little bit. Ireland was on the list
From the start.
from the start. I was looking at like Amsterdam, maybe Scotland, Edinburgh.
Mhm.
I
So one thing
don't know,
I'm curious about to ask you
Mhm.
is, at one point, I think when I was starting to study animation, part of the thing in the back of my mind was like, oh, if I learn how to do this, I have this sort of skill set that's a bit of a passport for travel too. Like
Mhm.
when you were deciding where to go, was that at all a factor of like, I could land on my feet, secure a job there, so you were looking for places that had a studio? Was that something you were considering at all?
No.
No. Okay.
No. I knew that I wanted to kind of be involved in the animation scene, mostly for the people, but not so much to find work in like a studio.
So when you were trying to decide where to go,
Mm-hmm.
you may not have been looking for industry then, but you were looking for places with an art scene of some kind.
Yeah.
How did Ireland become the choice?
I got a working holiday visa, and I actually really was considering Amsterdam or somewhere in the Netherlands.
Mhm.
But the working holiday visa, the cutoff age was 30. So I was like, okay, well, I can't do that. Ireland, 35. UK was 35 as well. But UK was a bit of a difficult process to get the visa.
Mm-hmm.
Ireland was always calling. Like,
Is there something about the culture that
yeah,
you like?
yeah, just very friendly and.
Mhm.
And
Had you
just-
been there before?
No, I've never
you just,
been.
You just like the idea of it.
Yeah.
So when you moved there, was that the first time you were there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
know
intense.
anyone. Yeah, it's something I always wanted to do, but I just never had the money. I wasn't saving, and I was kind of like, I don't know. But I had managed to save some money over like a year with this goal in mind of like, okay, if I want to do this, I actually have to put some stuff aside because you need a bit of a cushion when you get there.
Was that sort of like, well, if I'm going to move to a new place,
Kind of,
go
yeah.
all the way.
Yeah.
Go somewhere where I don't have any sort of safety net and
That weird feeling of being like,
in an
I have
alien
no
world.
idea
Yeah.
where I am.
Yeah.
Really like anonymous.
So what does being anonymous give you? Just to be fish out of water?
I mean, creativity, I'm sure, but it just helps my brain make new connections and like keep it active. Even within a routine, I'm always looking for like ways to switch it up. When I'm figuring stuff out in my life, I feel like it inspires just new ideas. Like
Mhm.
everything new is kind of like,
It makes art feel more necessary
Yeah.
or immediate, and it kind of motivates you to do it more. What's it like adjusting to a new place as someone who's always lived in the same place?
I adjusted like right away,
Yeah.
I think. It was weird how quickly I was like, I'm here and I live here. That's like, I mean, I'm sure looking back on it, maybe like years from now, I'll be like, oh yeah, I did have a hard time in the beginning. I did arrive there in winter, so it was dark a lot of the time and pretty rainy and cold. So I was like sleeping a lot. And I was like, I don't know if this is just, maybe I'm depressed or maybe this is just like winter. I was a little concerned how quickly I adapted. I was like, well, I think I should be like having a bit of a harder time or like missing home a little bit more,
Yeah.
you know?
Sometimes it's just nice to try on a different version of yourself. When you're around the people who know you, there's a baggage that comes with being
Yeah.
known. And when you can just be completely out of that context, somewhere totally new, you can just be whoever you want. That could be someone entirely new.
I mean, I was trying on different personalities.
Yeah.
I
Trying
can't say this
different
on the
accents every day.
podcast. They're gonna listen.
They're gonna out you. Yeah. You have like several different passports.
Yeah, I was
now.
like,
Yeah, you're actually a spy.
Canadian spy.
Yeah. One thing I love to do in a new place is like find a place and pretend it's my regular spot and like go there.
Mhm.
I make a point to try to go to the same coffee shop every morning to almost be like, I live here now and this is part of my local spot. How much are you exploring versus locking in? Like, oh, this is my spot.
I have my regular spot and
Yeah.
I go there all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like the only spot I ever go to, which is like,
What is it?
so
is it
routine.
a coffee shop or?
Yeah, it's called Eco Cafe. It's like a gaming cafe.
Okay. Video games?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like a bunch of computers and games and people go there to game. It's also like a print shop
Okay, cool.
where they like print stuff.
Like, what's the decor like?
Crazy high ceilings. It's kind of a warehouse type
Okay.
vibe. I don't know. I don't know what it is about it.
So how
I
did you was
don't
that
game.
place-
I don't
Yeah.
game. I don't like. I go there to just work on my iPad, and they have good sandwiches. So
How did you find that place?
I went there to print some resumes, and I was like, "Oh, I like this place." It used to be close by when I was living in the city, but I've moved to the suburbs of Cork City, and so it's not far. It's like a half-hour bus ride.
Right. At first, you were just doing like Airbnb, I guess, before you found a spot, because you didn't have a
No.
place when you arrived, right?
I didn't have a place when I arrived. I found a place through one of the Facebook groups, chatting with people on the bus to Cork from Dublin.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was kind of messaging people while I was still in Canada, obviously they want you to go see it in person and I have to be there to like go see apartments. So I stayed in an Airbnb for a week. I went and saw this apartment, lived with my first roommate. We got along like right away. He said, you can move in, but only in 2 weeks. And so I went from my Airbnb in Cork to Portugal for a couple weeks
Oh, cool.
and then came back and moved in.
That's the great thing about being in
Oh,
Europe
yeah.
is everything is such a hop, skip, and a jump away. You
Oh,
can go
I
to
know.
so
They
many
don't
places.
appreciate it. You have no idea how amazing this is. So,
Yeah, the time it takes for our Torontonian to get to Oakville, like you can be
Yeah.
in Paris. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, Paris is pretty cool.
I know. Hop on a plane and it's like €50 to get to Portugal.
Crazy. Yeah, like Ryanair. You were or are still working at a coffee shop as well?
I quit my job before coming home for Christmas.
Right on.
I've like bounced around. I've had 2 coffee shop jobs while I've been there. And usually I last about like 4 months.
Right. Coffee shop job in a new place as an artist actually seems like a pretty good way of plugging into the scene. Like you would run into it through like people promoting their events on the community Cork board or people
Yeah.
coming in to draw and stuff.
And like, are there any artsy people that are on the staff or like customers and things like that you've met?
I've met a few. I haven't met many friends through my jobs. I might actually apply at Eco Cafe, my favorite
That's what I was
cafe.
gonna say.
I know. I was
Just
like,
make it official
Yeah.
at this point.
You get into gaming, and that's
Yeah.
when your new life begins.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the new personality.
Yeah. So I might try and find something that's like, I don't know, maybe more artists come in.
Okay.
Or the last job I had it was more of like a kind of a brunch spot
Gotcha.
for in the suburbs,
Mhm.
you know?
So did you end up looking for animation industry work at all while you were there?
Yeah, I don't actually have like a portfolio that I can submit because I've found every job in Ottawa through people word of mouth.
Right. So you've never had to put one together.
No, and when applying for stuff, I can't just be like, trust me.
Yeah, right.
Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Like, so while I'm there, I'm not going to jump into animation work for a year
Right.
and then come back.
Yeah.
I'm only there for another year. So
Okay. Cool.
I have a year left on my visa and then we'll see. I don't
Yeah.
know. It would take a little bit of work to try and figure out how to stay there, but
Mhm.
I might be ready to like come back and then figure out what's next.
That's cool.
And I miss you guys.
Aw, we
I
miss you too.
do.
Yeah.
I'm always talking about you guys, all my Ottawa
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah. So finding arts community and animation community out there, you went to Animation Dingle.
I think at that point it was March Animation Dingle, so I had already been there since December. So I was feeling like I'm not really finding anyone. Okay, I need to go to like a festival.
Mhm.
Animation Dingle is I think, Ireland's biggest animation festival in Dingle, which is an amazing town. It's so nice. The animation festival like doubles the population of the town, like when everybody's there. So screenings,
it's like super small town. Yeah.
Super small town, yeah.
That's cool.
Screenings, talks, a lot of cool stuff. I met a couple of people there, one who I live with now.
Oh, cool.
And we were just chatting and saying how I was going to try and figure out how to get back to Cork the next day. And they were like, oh, we're from Cork. So they just drove me home.
Amazing. How was it? Because we were just talking about this, different animation festivals, the different vibes. Some feel like everyone who's there is moving from event to event as a unit, and it's easier to sort of feel involved. Whereas some feel if you're at one thing, you're missing 6 other things. You can get kind of like lost in the size of it. This sounds like one where it's a little bit more intimate and it's easier to meet people.
I think so. The events, a lot of events were kind of happening at the same time, but they were small.
Yeah.
So I went to like a few screenings and talks in like this tiny little church. You could fit like, I don't know, like maybe 20 people in there.
Oh, wow.
And that was really cool. It was my first time going to like a festival on my own without like my circle of people. And it was really hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, it's like day 2. I gotta like make some friends because like, why did I come here? I want to meet people. Someone asked me where they could find a coffee. And I knew because I had been going to this place for coffee and then just struck up a conversation. Yeah.
Okay.
So you stood there looking knowledgeable and helpful.
Yes, yeah.
And that's how you met your current roommate.
Exactly.
Is that who that was?
That was his friend.
Okay.
Who is, so my current roommate is an animator and he has his own studio that he runs out of his house.
Oh, cool.
And they're working on a short film, or out of our house, I guess. And then his friend is a composer working on the film as well.
So are you in Cork now?
I am still in Cork, in the suburbs.
There's a good animation scene in Cork?
In Cork, there are no like big studios like there are in Dublin or Kilkenny, but there are animators who live there, like a arts community and stuff.
Like, are there people who live there who commute to the bigger cities to work there, or they just like live and work in Cork doing independent work?
The animators I know, they don't work for like the studios in Dublin and stuff. It's like motion graphic kind of stuff, educational animation, that kind of stuff.
How far is Dublin from Cork?
It's like a 3-hour bus ride.
Okay.
So it's like from here to Montreal. To me, I'm like, that's not so bad, but it's like, it's very far for Ireland.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
about
walking distance.
Yeah.
the vastness of Canada.
Yeah. So you know other animators in Cork. You're always talking about the Ottawa friends. Here in Ottawa, we'd have our weekly drink and draw that kind of keeps us connected. We have smaller events and other things and show and tell. Have you found anything like that? Sort of like a routine with other people keeping you connected in each other's lives and stuff?
There is a monthly screening at this like beautiful old theater called Cork Picture House. A few animators get together and we make like kind of a 10-second animation challenge. So we'll all like have a theme and make 10 seconds of animation and show it at that screening, usually monthly or bi-monthly. That was really cool to get involved in that. There's also my housemate runs Cork Sketch Club. There's like events and stuff.
So the 10-second films, that's a monthly event? Bi-monthly? Is that what you said?
We were doing monthly, but I think they're going to do like every 2 or 3 months maybe now to like participate in the picture house.
So how many people participate in that?
Usually between like 10 and 15.
And they just play them? Like, is it just one big screening where they all just kind of play end to end?
Oh, yeah. Well, the screening is not just the 10-second animation.
Oh, okay.
So the screening is mostly like independent live action films.
Oh, interesting.
And they let us put our little like weird animation thing kind of in.
As interstitials, kind of?
No, just as like a film.
Okay.
Kind of.
Like fear was the theme, right?
Phobia.
Yeah. So you did the one was it fear of eyes?
Yeah, eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
That was great.
So
is that the only one you've done so far? Or?
No, I did. There was one Seagull was and the latest one was the Christmas
Did you post that?
one.
I don't know if I saw that one.
No, I only posted the eye one so far. It's like, I don't know if the other ones will make it to the Instagram feed.
Gotcha.
We'll see.
You were proud of the eye one.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I worked hard on that one.
It's good. Good sound design on that one too.
I mean, I need to figure out a better way, a more efficient way of animating because I treat animating in like dreams as if I'm like animating on paper. It's just like
I
frame
think
by
that-
frame.
But I think that works for you. Like,
It just takes forever.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is it straight ahead?
No, like I'll kind of plan it out a little bit, but yeah, pretty much. It's
Wow.
just, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I also want to talk about the zines. So you did the Bigfoot helped my grandpa build a cabin. Is that what it's called?
Bigfoot helped build my granddad's cabin, and I have proof.
And I have proof.
Yeah.
I love it. That's the title. And then the first dialogue is like, okay, so I don't actually have proof.
Yeah. Hey,
That's
he's
very
fooling it.
fun. Yeah. I had a memory of years ago, a Bigfoot short idea.
Oh,
Did that have anything to do with, was this?
I've probably had a bunch of Bigfoot
Okay,
ideas.
yeah.
I'm a Bigfoot fan.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is it about Bigfoot?
Mostly I like just watching these like really low budget Bigfoot documentaries, and I like the Bigfoot community. It's all these grown men who are like talking about this creature, like they're playing pretend kind of,
Yeah.
They're
Right.
like getting all excited about this make-believe thing. It's very
Yeah.
cute, I find.
Right. Yeah.
And they have all these facts about him, and I'm like, where is it? Like, where is this coming from?
So was the comic built upon like your granddad, or was it just the personification of like these guys all mixed up?
Kind of. It wasn't anything specifically that my granddad had ever said.
What I like about it is it's the granddad in the comic is wacky because it's a conspiracy, right? But it's done in such a way that's still charming and not scary. You never undercut it and make it be like, well, he doesn't actually believe it. It's like, oh no, he very much believes
Yeah.
it, but it's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it walks a great line. Let's talk about that. That was a pretty quick turnaround. You made that
Yeah.
for a specific comics event. How did you find out about that?
I made that for Dublin Comic Arts Festival.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of friends who had done it before, and it's this big market, and I had attended before.
Okay.
It's really cool. There's some animators that do stuff there, comic book artists. They had an open call for applications. They were prioritizing comic book artists, which is really awesome. But I did want to participate. So I said I was a comic book artist and made a couple of comics.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of turned out. And I was like, this is really cool. I want to make more of these. I met like a ton of really cool people there.
Nice. So yeah, you're gonna do more comics,
I would love to. It's like making a short film, but less commitment.
right?
I find it's like I'm getting that fix
Yeah.
of like
that would make a great
storytelling
short film too. But yeah,
of the Bigfoot.
the Bigfoot one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be fun to turn it into
Mhm.
something like that. As far as making a short film myself, hopefully soon, but it takes so much time.
Yeah. But making those short films, like all the skills you build are really transferable to comics. And it's almost
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, oh, this is like you're saying, like an easier version of it when the grandpa's doing all the dance moves. You only have to draw individual poses for each move.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like, this is easy mode.
It kind of surprised me how like natural it felt. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it was just years of being in animation,
Mhm.
working in animation. So I'm definitely going to make more of those.
Yeah.
So much fun.
There is one question we still have yet to ask.
Yes.
Yes.
What, Kayla?
Is
Most.
Fun.
Oh,
sorry.
I walked on your...
You said fun when Spencer said
Yeah.
fun.
I had a feeling. I knew where I was going.
Did you? So you've been a listener to previous
Yeah.
episodes, have you?
Yeah.
So this does not terrorize
No,
you the way that it terrorized our earlier
A
guest.
previous guest spilled the beans. What is most fun? I'm trying to think of like, I don't know, a really good answer, but
juicy
all that's
answer?
coming to my head is hanging out.
Yeah.
Hanging out with your buds.
Yeah,
Because you miss everyone at
I
home.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
That's a really good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm glad you seem to have found like a good community out there. So
Yeah.
it's important to have that like regular routine with people, because I think as you grow up, your adult friendships almost feel like this checklist of like just catching up.
Mhm, mhm.
You're not making memories and like doing things together. So I think it's so important to find people who are doing similar things as you, and you can walk that road
Yeah.
side by side. Yeah.
And those are always like the best friends too, that you
Mhm.
kind of have to go find. Like, I don't think I had really gone out of my way to really connect with people and go to events and like find people the last time I did that was with you guys at Drink and Draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of just started showing up.
This is a fun story of when you first came.
To Drink and Draw.
Yeah, because when it was just like me, Joel, Pat, and Tom.
It was a very like low key. It was basically like just a friends hangout with you four. Yeah, Diamond Dave, we were chatting and he was like, oh, I think actually you should like go to this event. I think it would be really cool for you. And I was like, yeah, totally. And I showed up and I kind of like saw you guys drawing and I sat down and I was like, hi, I'm here. Like I'm meeting Diamond Dave.
And he never even comes.
No. And then I remember Tom being like, he doesn't come to these things. So yeah, he just sent me there, which was really like probably the best thing he could have done for me. Yeah.
Find Kayla on Instagram at Kayla Marok. There, you can follow along with her latest adventures and check out all the fun, weird stuff she makes.
And head to the Most Fun Patreon to check out the full show notes and bonus episodes.
Now it's time for listener mail.
Ah, my favorite time. So what I'll say about this listener mail, they did not hide their identity well.
Okay. Will I be shocked?
You may be shocked.
So will I spit my coffee if I drink it?
You very well could. This is very expensive equipment, so please,
I'm done. I'm listening.
Please contain yourself. Okay. B. Tatchuk writes. B. Tatchuk writes, I got into this podcast because of my deep love of Ottawa's indie animation scene. But will you be talking with guests from other cities as well? Would love to hear you chat with guests from the USA, Europe, Asia, and other parts of Canada. Even Toronto, despite my conflicted feelings about the place. Keep up with the great work. P.S. Sorry about the silver medal and all that weird stuff about women. I don't know. I have some feelings that might be from a Sens player.
You think?
I think so.
That could be Tatchuk. That could be anyone.
I don't think it could be anyone. Yeah. Now, I think honestly what gives it away is the silver medal. So a little bit of a dig.
That went over my head.
Right. Were you just like enamored with the idea that a Sens player loves the podcast?
I was trying to decode Beta Chuck. I mean,
right.
That could be so many different people.
That could be anyone.
So I was going through the whole list of
the greater Ottawa area. Right.
I mean, it's cool he's in indie animation, I guess. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. Well, what he's wondering is because we've been, up until this point, we've been very, not Canadian focused, but like specifically Ottawa focused. I think as an American, he's wondering, are there going to be any American voices represented on this podcast? Is that coming up in our future? I mean, he also mentions Europe and Asia, but other parts of Canada. So
he's got a global view.
He does. He's seen a lot of the world.
Yeah. He thinks globally and acts locally.
Right. So yeah, what's coming up in terms of representation on the podcast?
Yes. Geographically, we are going to be zooming out to include the United States.
Yeah, very soon.
Very soon. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's just say it now. Our next guest is Maddie Brewer.
Yes.
LA animator and show creator. We'll be talking about her exciting new show, Chips.
Yes.
And
which played at the Ottawa Animation Festival in the series competition this past fall.
And that's where we spoke with her. A lot of these guests, all of them.
Coming up.
All the American guests. How do we get all these American guests? Well, they came to Ottawa.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So most of the back end of this season was recorded in the same week.
Yes,
yeah,
that's right.
During the Animation Festival in 2025.
2 days, 2 really exciting days.
Yeah.
But
sorry to Chuck.
we'll get
if the gold medal wasn't enough for you,
you're
getting 6 back-to-back episodes
of
pure American content.
That's right. As a podcast that exclusively records in person, this is a beautiful feature, but also a limitation in terms of who you'll get. Maybe if you happen to be a world famous NHL player with many millions of dollars, you might want to check out our Patreon. Let's go, Tom Chuck, Ta Chuck. How do you say it?
now you're thinking too much animator. So you're thinking of Justin Tomchuk.
Right. That's who I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. I'm so animation.
Brady Tkachuk, yeah.
I'm animation coded.
Yeah.
For sure. So yeah, that's great. I love that he loves the podcast. And I
Yeah.
hope all of the senators love the
Right.
podcast. That would be really cool.
See, I like the way you think everything's an opportunity. I just thought, well, that's crazy that he wrote us a letter. You're like, immediately like, he has lots of money. He has access to a plane.
That's the Toronto in me.
Yeah.
It's like exploit the
Yeah.
opportunity till you get to the raw bone. So how about your listener mail?
I got a letter from Carmen, no last name.
Okay.
And Carmen asks, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Ooh.
And for me, the answer to this question really boils down to anywhere there's an animation festival.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I like traveling with a goal, an intention. Well, a lot of people would say, well, is not going to see the pyramids or to look over the Seine or like gaze out from the Eiffel Tower. Is that not enough of a goal? No, I need an animation festival there. I need something that I would go to regardless of where it was
Right.
to bring me to a place that takes me somewhere that I really don't know anything about. I find obviously if you're traveling to somewhere to experience the country itself, you do a lot of like research, you like prep yourself for it. Whereas going to Zagreb, I knew nothing of Croatia till I got there. So everything was this really beautiful, fun surprise. Everything about the country and the festival itself. And love to go back someday. And in fact, we got to talk about Zagreb with Kayla because it turns out she has distant relatives who live in Zagreb. So her and her sisters, they took a trip over there and met these distant cousins that they had never met before and experienced Zagreb. So we got to kind of compare notes on our experience when we went to the Zagreb Animation Festival with her experience with the city. She wasn't there for the festival, but enjoyed the city as well. So that part of the conversation ended up in the bonus episode, which the aforementioned Patreon will give you access to.
Yeah, and it's a great conversation. It's really fun to hear her reflect on the immaculate vibes of meeting these relatives that she knew nothing about and finding that they have the same mannerisms and the same tics and things as her. So they bonded instantly. And yeah, you can hear all about that. And maybe it will give you some inspiration to do your own traveling. Mm-hmm. So, to answer that question, I guess for me, where would I travel?
Oh, she just wanted, she said, I'm not that interested in Tabitha's answer. Yeah.
In Spencer.
Yeah. But I want to hear your answer.
No. I'm gonna give my take on what's great about this philosophy of travel where it's based on an animation festival is what it does is give you a built-in network of people to chat with, which is what Kayla essentially did too, because she's going in as an animation person. And it's like you're not starting from zero, because I think from scratch can be intimidating unless you're already quite extroverted. So it's nice to already have a shared commonality for why you're there. Like we found that when we went to Europe, to Annecy and Zagreb. Yeah. It's just, you already can talk about the films and, you already know some of the same people.
What I love about animation, having that shared language about this art form we love, that's such a great connector and then a vessel to learn about all the other stuff, people's unique culture and experience, because it brings so many different kinds of people.
Yes.
To the table. So many different parts of the world and different life experiences. And
yeah, it's great. Great vibes. We love festivals.
We love festivals, including the Ottawa Festival, where we had all those great conversations with all those Americans we were talking about. And like we already mentioned, Maddie Brewer is our next guest.
Yeah, next guest announcement.
Yeah, so that was a really great episode.
Yes.
I'm really excited for people to hear that one.
Yeah, it's very sassy, fiery in a way that's great.
Very fiery.
Yes, yeah.
Talking about really making a case for your vision as a creator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
The Most Fun Podcast is a Most Fun Studio production and a member of the Podcavern Network. This episode was edited by Spencer Moreland and Tabitha Fisher and produced by Tabitha Fisher. This episode's special theme music features guitar work from Dougal Dawson.
Season 1 of Most Fun Podcast was produced with financial assistance from ASIFA Hollywood's Animation Educators Forum Faculty Grants Program. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the speakers and are not affiliated with any institutions, organizations, or employers, including Sheridan College. Thanks for listening to Most Fun Podcast, and we'll be back soon with more.